chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back to another episode of Life Choices on your favorite TV show, inshallah, Huda TV. We brought you an episode last week about time management. It's such a big topic that we had to drag it out again and speak about it today. Inshallah, we're going to focus more on goals and how to relate that to time management. Brother Adam, what's a goal you're currently trying to achieve now?
For me, because I grew up actually in the West, I'd never had the chance, I haven't had the chance yet to understand Arabic in order to read the Quran.
You're from California, right?
Yeah, originally from California. So now that I'm here in Egypt, alhamdulillah, I want to understand Arabic in order to, perfect my prayers, to read the Quran, and to really, take it into my heart, because I know that the native language is really important. So this takes, this is a big goal, and it's going to take a lot of time. And but ultimately, the purpose of my life in general is a life with purpose. So now that I have this purpose and I know what I want to do, it makes it easier for me to achieve these goals, because I know that there's a meaning behind it. There's a purpose. So when I'm reading the Quran or when I'm trying to understand it and I get frustrated, I know this is for a good reason. So there's no reason to be frustrated. Just keep working harder.
All Muslims, all Muslims believe we have a purpose. That's what differentiates us from, the non-Muslims. Right. And generally, you'd find, suicide rates in, Western countries and stuff like that, very high.
Because they lack the proper understanding. They're attached to worldly matters, and then when their girlfriend leaves them, oh, my life's over.
Yeah, that's I think a very common problem for suicide and depression. Alhamdulillah, as Muslims, we have, the faith that, whatever we do in this life, we're going to get either rewarded or punished for it by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. So it's, it's really important what you said, your goal is to learn Arabic, to better understand the Quran. And as Muslims, I think many of us, that is our goal, to get better at Arabic, to get better at understanding the Quran, not just memorizing it, memorizing it for the sake of memorizing it, but memorizing it for the sake of understanding it and implementing it.
To feel it.
Yeah, that's right. To have the khushu' in the salat. What do you reckon, Zakir?
Exactly. Jazakallah khair, Adam. It's a beautiful goal of yours. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and make it easy for you. And I'm on a similar path as you. Alhamdulillah, I know how to read Arabic and everything, and I studied Quran for a while. And I'm here in Egypt right now to understand Arabic deeply. I'm taking an intensive Arabic class right now, almost every day, a couple of hours one-on-one with the teacher.
Well, maybe we can help each other.
Sure, inshallah. Just like you, with the intention of understanding the Quran directly. For the Quran is a miracle in itself, from a literary perspective, from the language point of view. Us in the States, back home, or in the West, a lot of times, we have to refer to translation, and the translation does a good job in getting the overall message across, but the language, the translation, it's lost, the power, the force, the beauty is lost in translation. So I really want to understand the Quran directly.
Yeah, the true appreciation comes from reading the Quran in Arabic.
Exactly.
That's where the true appreciation
comes from.
Another
goal, obviously, for me here is to get into Jamiatul Al-Azhar University, bi'idhnillah, and study Islamic sciences, inshallah, in a more traditional, advanced.
I hope that Allah makes that happen for you.
Ameen, inshallah.
Why do you want to do so?
Well, back home, we really need home, if you want to give it this term, homegrown imams. Yani those people who were born, raised in the States, who went to school there, who understand the culture, who know the language of the youth, who can connect and relate to them. We really need imams like this. But you can't just educate yourself in the West with Islam. You need to have this traditional training. Therefore, what better place than Al-Azhar University, the 1,000-plus-year-old institution still running strong till today, where it's so well known and reputable throughout the world.
They're credible, and I agree with you 100%. And I just want to give some hope to viewers at home that maybe can't afford it. You can do it on your own. There are resources out there for them to learn Islam on their own.
Absolutely, and you don't have to go overseas to study Deen. The sunnah of the scholars is to study in your localities, in your communities. Back home in the States, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed us with many great shuyukh and teachers and ulama and du'at who are able to cater to the needs of the Muslim community, at least on a primary level.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn Arabic and Quran and memorize Quran, it's totally possible.
Yeah, like when it comes to learning things like Salah, Siyam, those things can be done in your own local town.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. No, I can't pray because I haven't learnt. I haven't gone to an Islamic university. That's not an excuse.
The idea is to exhaust your local resources first, and then if you want to pursue higher studies, that's when you can look into traveling abroad. And this is what all the ulama of the past have done. They learned from their hometown scholars, and then they travel.
Which is prioritizing, because it's time, because it's all about time. So if you are going to search outside the box before searching inside the box, it's a big myth.
And I think also, especially for young people in America and in the West, who are on this path of learning the Deen, don't just have this romantic understanding that I'm going to have to go overseas to study. No, use your time right now, use all the resources right now, what you have in front of you, and benefit from what you have. For that is a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't just relax and lie be all laid back. Okay, I'm going to go one day overseas to study. No, the point is to study right now. Take advantage of every moment.
Actually, brother, you made me remember a great story. It's totally coping with what you are saying. It made me remember that there were a person who has a big gold. Don't know if I said it before, but that he has a house. And he knew that there is another place that he can find big golds in it.
Gold as in gold?
Gold.
Okay.
Big rocks of gold.
Yeah.
So he sold his house, and he went there to search for gold. And he was around 20 or 25. He spent all his life there searching for gold in the place that they said. And when he reached about 60 or 65, he came back to his home country. And he met the person, just by luck, he met the person who owned his old house now. And he met him, how are you and how is the house doing with you? He said, it's beautiful, I have to invite you inside it. Okay, he invited the guy and they went back to his old home. And when he entered, he found a big gold inside it. He told him, what is this? He said, it's a gold. He said, from where did you get it? He said, I think that the owner of this house didn't know that this house, under this house, there is a lot of a big cave of gold. So, when you focus on this story, you can see that the guy didn't try to search under his home. There were a cave full of gold under his home, and he went overseas to search for gold. So you need to look for the tool that you already have, and you will find your own gold.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have access to. And for example, personal experiences show that you have certain communities with imams, mashallah, with great potential and great leadership skills, a lot of benefit in them. But you see that their own communities don't use them to the full capability, to the full potential. Whereas you find communities from outside inviting them, really treating them well, and respecting and honoring them, and inviting them to share his knowledge with them and his experience. Whereas his own hometown people aren't really giving him the value that he deserves.
And you lose all your life. This guy that we talked about in the story, he went out, he's 20 or 25, until he became 65 you may around 40 years, and he didn't find the gold at the end. He found it under his home, so he lost his life. He lost all the time that he used to have, just for nothing, or for something that it was just beside him. That's why we say always, you don't need something from outside that much. What you need is always inside you, and this will consume a lot of the time that you're already consuming. It will decrease the amount of time you are consuming.
That's right, and as we know, as Muslims, you know, our rizq is written for us. You know, it's under our feet, literally.
Yeah.
You know, if we're chasing for it, you know, we're going to keep missing it.
Exactly. And
if we just stop for a moment, it's right there. You know what I mean?
you have a lot of examples, a lot of shuyukh, a lot of stories that help you, and you insist to find it outside.
Yeah.
If you look for the youth, they are always acting like outside. You find that the fashion and that stuff, they always care about what they don't have, without purpose.
The whole idea, the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
We're never you know, satisfied with what we have now, and we're constantly thinking, oh, maybe if it's like, you know, if it's like that, or maybe if I do this, or maybe if I go there, or maybe if I, you know.
Why not water the grass on this side?
We don't really appreciate what we have at the moment.
Yeah.
And you know, this is just how human beings our nature is just always, we're always anxious, we're always curious, we always want to find out you know, how things are.
It's most also about mostly related to how we grow up, how we learn that we must search outside. Because if we grow up like with people who teaches us how to search inside us, it will be more easier. That's why we say, please learn this and teach it to your kids. Teach them to link the goals to their to their life. Teach them to implement this time management on their own goals. Teach your kid not what he will get from a relation with his family, with his wife one day. No. Teach him the value of love between them. Because when he grow up, he will not learn to be selfish. He will learn the value behind things. And this is from the important things that we always miss. We don't know the value of things that we have. Like time. A lot of assumptions say, there were a video that talks about, let's imagine that we have a bank, okay? This bank has $24 million, okay? But there is only, in your account, but there is only one condition. You have to use, or you have to get out the 24 million every day, or you will lose them. You have to use the 24 million.
So you have
24
million every day?
Yeah.
A new 24 million every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the amount you keep in the account, you will lose.
You will lose it.
So you must get it out of the account.
Okay.
What you will do?
To take it all out.
But what we do with our time, we have 24 hours every day. And we don't use any of these millions.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want to spend it. We only keep it in the account. And we come to the next day, we find that we've lost
it.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful example, mashallah. That's
yeah. We don't have this millions anymore. You have 20 million. Yeah, really put it as money, because money talks most of the time. I'm in business, I know. Money talks. Go to your account in the day and see how you want to use this 24 millions. What you want to buy. I want to buy future. I want to buy the moment. I want to buy Jannah. Huh? This time we'll buy this, right? We say always that the product of God is very expensive because it's Jannah.
Sure.
So this expensive product, you have to pay for it, and you have the 24 million on daily basis. So put a common amount to spend it every day to buy this, because you are on what do we call it? To pay not cash, you are paying every day.
Credit.
Yeah, credit. Yeah, use this credit to have this Jannah. So you can, by this amount, you can buy whatever you want. Just all what you have to focus on. And if you don't know how it means, let's ask the people who got lost in time and see what they did. So that they used to say, if you want to know what you lost, or what the amount of time you lost, take the amount of time and ask someone who can feel it. What does it mean? For example, you want to know the meaning of a year, ask somebody who failed in the exams. He knows well what a year costs. Yeah, I lost my year in the exam, I have to repeat this year again. If you want to know the meaning of what? The meaning of...
like a farmer, he has to grow his crops. It takes time to grow the crops. Maybe something wipes him out and he has to grow them again.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful example.
If you want to know the meaning of an hour, ask someone who lost the train, or who lost his plan.
All right,
his plane.
Sorry, let's just have a look. We have Brother Mustafa Moore from the US joining us. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thanks so much for calling in.
No problem at all.
Brother, we're talking about today, our episode's about time management and goals. What could you share with us?
Well, time management is a very important thing.
Yeah.
Because, Allah only put us on this earth for a certain amount of time. So we need to recognize that as ibad and use that to our advantage. Because the time that we have, honestly, is not ours. So if we can use that time and to build something that'll last forever, why not? And instead of just throwing your time away on television or useless talk, try to open the Quran or try to give dawah, and whatever you do, try to do it with a correct niyyah, and just make your life easy to people alive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what's one of the ways, a tip you can recommend, how do you best, utilize your time? What techniques do you use?
Afwan, I can't hear you.
I'm just asking, what sort of techniques do you implement in your life to best manage your time?
Well, I try to pay attention to the small details. Try not to, overlook anything because it all matters. If you can, take it easy, that's it's a really big key.
Yeah.
Don't rush so much. We as human beings spend the majority of our time rushing. So try to set things so that you won't have to rush, or things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Akhi, Jazakallah khair for your input. We really appreciate your call. Brothers and sisters, stay with us. We'll be back right after this break.
To Medina, our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions faced lots of troubles and difficulties and enmities and obstacles in the way to Medina before the hijrah to Medina from Mecca. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assisted his beloved Prophet and supported him in order to complete his mission and to immigrate to Medina. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us this great Prophet and his companions. Now the question, why the immigration to Medina, the hijrah of Rasulullah and his companions, was a turning point in the history of hijrah and the history of Islam. My dear brothers and sisters, what are the sacrifices that the Prophet Muhammad has faced with his companions? Some of these difficulties, inshallah, we will learn together and we will focus in some lessons. What are the lessons that we take from these incidents, inshallah, in our program, Road to Medina? My dear brothers, stay tuned with us, inshallah, in this great event of Hijrah. We will, inshallah, focus on some of the lessons in this program, Road to Medina. May Allah make it easy for us and accept our good deeds and gather us with our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in Jannah. Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back from the break to Life Choices. Today we're talking about goals and time management. Before the break, we took a call from a beautiful brother in the US, Mustafa Moore. Zakir, would you like to make?
The last point the brother mentioned was about rushing and not to rush through things.
Yeah.
From my own experience, I observed that anytime I would rush into something, most of the time it wouldn't turn out good. It wouldn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And this is where time management comes in, because as human beings we are required to make decisions with thought, with precision, with calculation. We're not supposed to rush and do things in a hasty manner.
Well, as Muslims, we're supposed to do the best of everything we do. I mean,
whatever we do, we have to do it with excellence. This is
there's a hadith.
This is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves actions which are done with excellence, right? With perfection.
Sure.
Now, coming back to the whole idea of rushing through things and time management, if we consciously decide on our daily activities and our lives in general, we will see positive results. Whereas just doing things haphazardly, on the spot, spontaneously, without any thought, without any thinking and
I like
planning.
the word conscious itself. This is very
time
very
management.
important.
This word defines time management.
We do everything without conscious.
And in the Quran, subhanAllah, Allah, He says that human beings are hasty. We always want results right away. We always want satisfaction right away. We always want pleasure right away. And this, unfortunately, the youth are engulfed in this mentality too much. Why? I like this girl. I want to go out with her. I'm just too. I
want the direct.
I want the direct satisfaction, the pleasure.
Satisfaction.
Right. This is why we find young people engaging in all sorts of acts of disobedience, which might have temporary satisfaction, but in the long run they are harming themselves. Why? Because they are doing things unconsciously.
Yeah, there's a saying that goes, good things comes to those that wait. Inshallah, we're going to go to a very interesting video report, and we'll be right back.
Today's topic is time and goals. I want to start off with a story. The story is actually about our life story. Think about it. We were nothing, right? Before we were born, we were nothing. Then we were born. Then we grow, and we become teenagers. And then we grow again. And then maybe we have a family. And then we grow old. And then we die. That's our life story. And that's the story every single human being before us has lived. This is a cycle, the life cycle. The question is, what's the point? Imagine, you come from nothing, you get born, you grow, become a teenager, you have a family, you get older, you become old, you die. And the question is, what's the point? Many philosophers have battled this question, but alhamdulillah, Islam saved us from being confused and saved us from not knowing what to do, and gave us a very, very clear answer to this question. What's the point? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created mankind and jinn except to worship Allah. So we have this clear sense of purpose. And this is the differentiator between us as Muslims and everyone else. That we have this clear sense of purpose, because life without a purpose is not worth living. Again, if you read the history books and the philosophy books, and you see people battling their mind, what's the point? Why are we here? Why are we living? Some of them commit suicide because they have no idea why they're alive. Because life without a purpose is not worth living. Now, purpose is almost like the grand plan, the grand purpose you're living for. But within this grand plan, there must be some milestones. And these milestones are goals. And these goals make life interesting, because, to be honest, life without goals is boring, right? There's nothing you can do. Imagine you had no goal in life. You just woke up and, no particular goal. and you just lived, it's boring, right? But if you wake up, you've got some studies to do, you've got some personal development things to do, you've got maybe memorize Quran as a goal, you've got to achieve your A stars, you've got to get to university. All these goals, all these milestones make your life interesting and make your life really something that you inspire. You actually wake up in the morning refreshed because you want to achieve those goals, inshallah.
Yeah, subhanAllah, very good point. I like the last quote. Life without goals. No.
Yeah, life without goals is boring.
Yeah, life without goals is boring. What do you think on that?
I think,
I feel bored. Yeah, I think that I feel bored.
I think you're just kind of living your life, aimlessly, without any hopes, without any aspirations, without any dreams. And life is really boring without that, because we only live once, right? YOLO.
Yeah.
We only live once.
Yeah.
You only live once, and there's just so much out there for us to really seize and enjoy and reminisce and just have a good time. But if we don't have like a path to follow, if we don't know what we want, then we're just living our lives like cattle,
right.
as the Quran mentioned.
We have to understand the point of we live once, because this is one of the most barriers for people. They always do the disobedient
as if they will live eternally.
But on the other way, they say, I live once,
Right,
so
let
let
me
me
just do
try.
it, let me just do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it now.
Right.
He doesn't understand that this is really the purpose of this episode itself, the relation between time and goal, that your schedule can stop any time. This schedule you can have the end of it in the moment. While I'm talking now, maybe the word I'm saying will be the last word. It'll be a disaster here in the program, if I went just directly. And I have to put this on my mind, that maybe I will lose my life now. So I have always to be ready.
That's right. So, I mean, this life is it's not a pre-test, Sometimes you might get a pre-test for something.
A trial.
A trial, yeah, a trial. But this life is not a pre-test, it's not a trial. You only get one chance at it. And if you mess it up, that's it. It's
I
gone.
mean, just the whole idea of time management, coming back. If we were to be told that we have 24 hours to live, how will we manage our life? What will we do? What will we engage in? Some people say, I'm going to go to the masjid and stay there all day. I'm going to give sadaqah. I'm going to read Quran. I'm going to make azkar.
But the Prophet Muhammad didn't say so, right?
Right.
He didn't talk about, and this is something, sorry to...
Now look at this person though. Look at how he will treasure and cherish every single millisecond of his life, because he knows that he has a very limited time. Now we are not told, and this is where the test comes in, we are not told when we will leave. So it's up to us to make that conscious decision how we want to live our lives.
Brother, also you make me remember something important, very important. I liked, it attracted me in that hadith so much. The Prophet Muhammad, when he talked in hadith that if it is the afterlife and you have
a plant, a seed,
a seed in your hand, right? He didn't talk about worshipping on that moment, right? Do you see this? I felt like he didn't say go to the masjid. Whenever you ask anyone, if you have only 2 minutes, what you will do? I will say, I will read Quran, I will go to pray. Okay, this is good. But the Prophet didn't say so. He talked about working, doing effort, and using the time for something beneficial. Although, if it is the end of this something which is beneficial. Because some people can say it's a tree, and it's the afterlife, so it will die or it will go with the earth. You have to know that as a Muslim, you are not doing the things to get the result out of it. The result happened already by doing it.
But it's, no matter how small the action might look, reminded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words in the Quran, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ.
Sure.
So no matter how small the deed looks, you're going to get, you're going to get
every single thing will count.
And going back to what the brother called in and said, is that we need to remember that anything we do that's good can be done for the sake of Allah. So it's like it's such a
very comprehensive,
big, it encompasses everything that we can do. And people sometimes think like this is Islam, this is all my life. No, like this is Islam. Wow, like it covers everything in my life.
And this this hadith about planting the seed shows how the Islamic system, the Islamic belief system, is so balanced.
Yeah.
with deen and dunya, with world and akhirah.
Yeah.
How working hard in this world will lead to eternal comfort and relaxation in the akhirah.
Yeah.
Things which our young brothers and sisters nowadays they want to engage in because they're young, because they're in the age, they're in the mood, they're in the pressure, they're in the hype, they just want to do it. But they forget to realize that in the akhirah there is something much greater than anything here, and this is how we can sort of avoid falling into acts of disobedience by saying, you know what, if I'm patient right now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward me in ways I can't even imagine. And that is the ultimate reward.
Yeah.
And why do something right now which will sacrifice and risk my akhirah? If I do something right now and it will cause me to face punishment and Allah's wrath, then it's really not worth it. Just for a couple of seconds of enjoyment, it's really not worth it.
No, definitely not, especially because you don't know when the angel of death is going to come and take your soul. So
And imagine if we are engaging in something haram and displeasing to Allah, and at that time, and when we come to this world, we come in a certain order, right? Our grandfathers, fathers, our sons, we come in a certain order. But when we go, I've been to janazah where we pray janazah, a 60-year-old man and a 3-year-old baby, a 60-year-old man and an infant, just newborn and died right away, together in the same setting. So there's no really guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, in the video clip, it showed the order of life. I mean, it had old age, then death.
Sort of a bland.
In Surah,
that's not correct.
In
Exactly.
Surah Ar-Rum, Allah highlights the same setup that we saw in the video. He says you were born, you were weak, and then you were strong, and then you became weak again. We're babies, we're weak, and then we have a period of strength, right? And this is the period, when we're, in our teenage years, and we're working, when we're establishing family and doing all these things, and then we become babies again. At first, we need parents to help us, and then we need our children to help us.
This is true. And in the hadith also, it cared about the short-term goal, because putting this plant, it's a short-term goal. It's something that will finish directly after you do it. So the religion was caring about all the terms of the goal. We have short-term goal, mid-term goal, and long-term goal.
Goals.
So not everything you need to do is for long-term. That's why your smile in the face of your brother, it's a sadaqah. Why? It's something that will just finish after you go. I'm smiling at your face and you will just go.
Short-term.
It's short-term plan. Because if we look for all the things that have been asked to us by Islam, we will find that it's on the time management schedule. You have your goal, things that will finish directly, another thing that needs some of time, like
something
siyam, like fasting, and another thing that need long term, which is the vision that is controlling the whole goal.
But essentially, everything we do when it comes to Islam, when it comes to worship, all of it is a long-term goal in a sense, because you're going to have to wait for your reward.
That's why
May Allah give us all Jannah.
I mean,
the long term always representing in training the vision. The long term, something that has no end. So what has no end except the afterlife, right? This is the thing that you need to reach through your short term and mid term goals. So Islam always cared to put you on this schedule, to give things that give a direct result, and to do another thing that give somehow far result. And at the end, they are all serving the main goal, which is going to Jannah in the afterlife. So implementing our goals on time, on the schedule, and prioritizing it according to what we said in the last week about putting it according to urgent and important. We have a box that we didn't talk about, by the way, the last box, which is not urgent, not important. This is, most of us, when we see deeply, we can find, especially in our age.
So this is good for like visual learners.
Yeah, you will find it
on paper.
On our age, you will find most of the people on that box. Okay. Not urgent, not important.
Engaging in activities that will neither benefit our dunya or our akhirah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
vain activities, which are of no value, no purpose.
Yeah, and some of them do the things without intention. And that's what we always focus with people. Just put this intention in whatever you are doing. And Islam cared about this small practicing or this short practicing to give you a result upon it. So why you are losing time?
Well, I think deep within us all, we all know what we want.
So it depends on, sorry?
I think deep inside we all know what we want. We,
Yeah.
people they say that what's urgent, what's less urgent, what's important, what's not important. Deep inside we know what's important.
But
So we need to do that,
just to cope on
Yeah.
it. And we need to know what's the important action. Because some people also, and this is a point that I remembered, some people look at the result and just, or sorry, what they are doing and just forget themselves. What I will do. What do you think I will do? They start to negotiate or talk or to discuss about something that they are really, as you say, they know well what they have to do. But they are only losing time. Do I have to go now? Or don't have? And why I want to? And deep inside himself, that he must go. He must go. That's why on this matrix of time management, we always tell people, you have to apply something called the 4 Ds. What are the 4 Ds?
The four Ds of time management?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can we have a look at that after the break, inshallah?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go to a short break and we'll be right back.
Very short, yeah.
I've been asked today to talk about the Quran and the modern world.
The religion that is acceptable to Almighty Creator is Islam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
The more you know about him, the more you realize how you want to be like him.
For every messenger, a prophet that Allah has sent, Allah gave him one dua.
Allah sent prophets after prophet, messenger after messenger to remind everyone, don't deny the Creator.
La ilaha illallah.
Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. Thee alone we worship, and Thee alone we seek help.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Never on this planet walked such a person as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to today's episode of Life Choices. We're talking about time management, and just before the break, Brother Kareem was sharing with us some tips, and you were telling us, Brother Kareem, about the 4 Ds of time management.
Every one of us is a D, is a very big D, which is, you have to apply it on the time matrix. We said that we have four boxes.
Yep.
We have to put every D, or we will find that most of these Ds are applying on, they are able to be applied on this time matrix. The first thing, which is urgent and important. Urgent and important, just do it. Which is the first D, do it.
Okay.
You don't have to take time. Just go on and apply it. You have a crisis, just work on it. You have this urgent, important phone call and work to your manager, just do it. You have to go back to say sorry for someone.
So don't think about it.
Yeah.
Don't procrastinate. Just do it.
Yeah,
Because I think procrastination, I think a lot of people,
the barriers.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll send that email later.
Yeah.
And procrastination, we know it's from the shaitan.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, we learned from prophetic tradition that if you're able to do something today, don't leave it off for tomorrow. If you're able to do something, if you're able to get something done right now or today, make sure you don't wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're never going to know if you're going to live until tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you can complete the task right now, then you save yourself, one less task for the next day.
And it's related to psychology as well, because what we know is our time looks like files, and I think that I said this before.
Looks like
files. We have files. We have cells. This cells has files. Okay. In each file, you say tomorrow, you open a new file. This file starts to be in our subconscious. And one of the rules of the subconscious that it built on the last experience. So if the last experience was that you didn't read the book that you chose, you will not read the next book.
Yeah.
If it was that you break up with someone, for example, your brother or divorcing, or your brother, you got a fight with your brother, you will always remember this when you get to to talk with him again, you will always feel like you can. It's easy to leave him. You know, it's easy to leave the book. It's easy to leave the. You have to know that your mind will put this in as a system in your life, leaving people, leaving the reading, leaving the work, not without doing it. Okay. The second box was not urgent, but it is important.
We said the first D is just do it.
Just do it.
So
the second D, according to the box, something which is not urgent but important. What do you think that we need to do it? It's not urgent, but it's important. You can delay it.
Delay it.
Okay.
Why? It is important. I will do it, but I will delay it for a while.
Yeah.
Why? Because I have things to do it first.
I have
to
things
do this
that are first priority.
Okay, exactly. To put it on your list, but not as a first priority.
Yeah.
The third box is some stuff which is urgent but not important. It is urgent but not important. What do you have to do? You can
don't do it.
You can delegate it.
Delegate it.
Right. It's not important to do it. You can let another one do. For example, if your brother is enough to go to this visit, he can go.
So this was for urgent but not important?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Urgent but not important. There are things which is not urgent and not important.
Don't do it.
Dump it.
Okay.
Don't do it. Yeah. Why you care to do a lot of things which is, you know, it's not on your schedule, and at the same time it's useless.
Right. Where's the benefit in it?
Disregard it.
Yeah, just disregard it, actually. So on these 4 Ds, you can implement it on everything in your life just to save your time.
So essentially what we're saying is that last box, the not important, not urgent, that's time wasting.
Yeah.
Because
like
it's not, there's no benefit in it.
Beautiful advice. So you have just do it.
Do it.
Delay
it.
Delegate
and
dump it.
Dump it.
Right, it's true. Sometimes, you know, people ask me like, you know, how can I do this? You know, it's so hard. Really, just do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's yourself that's holding you back, and as soon as you get the ball rolling, it's much easier. Like if you want to write an essay or something, you know, if you just keep thinking about it, oh man, I have to prepare, I have to research, what am I going to write? I found from my own experience, just start the first paragraph. At least just start and then stop for a moment and think, and you'll see all these thoughts are going to come together.
Again, this is related to what we said about the previous experience. Again, you will find this guy, let himself, he get used to do this. He get used to ask himself. And as a mind, the mind always gets you, and this is another rule, your mind always supports you in what you want. So, for example, I want to complicate the stuff, or I want to escape. So your mind will help you to escape from your assignment or from the work that you have to do. Because your mind only a servant. It does to you what you want. So if you want to escape, he will make you sleep more.
Right.
And remember a lot of friends that you have to call before the assignment. And a very important TV show, and it is not our show, for example, because our show is important already.
any, not just our show, any Islamic show. You know, anything that you can gain benefit from, you know, lectures and stuff like that. But like Adam, what's your take on it? I mean,
well, I think definitely asking yourself what's important in life. Why am I existing right now? Because of course, before we were existing, we weren't existing, and then we came into this existence. We needed to ask those questions. Why do we exist? And once we find the truth of Islam and these things, makes everything much easier. You know how to prioritize once you realize why you exist. I mean, everything kind of just makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
True. Because everything will be related to the goal and the vision you want, and you will directly put it as an implementation. So you will have already, also you have another thing, when you do everything on its time, you will have a big chance to have what we call it a side times. What is side times? Side time is the time that come out due to the situation. For example, I have to come and meet you here, guys, at 4, and I will finish with you at 5, for example, and I have to go to meet another people, or I have work to do at 7. The situation put me that there is a time from 5 to 7 that I have nothing to do. Okay? When I am scheduled, this is the benefit of having a schedule or having a to-do list for the important things, and this is one of the most important advices, to have a to-do list for what you are going to do in the day, on the day. So, I will have side times. If I want this or not, I will find that side times comes out. So you have to get use of these side times.
Mm.
For what? Relaxation.
Right.
Reading.
Yeah.
To call this
Relative
box
of yours, right?
of things which is urgent and not important. You will have a lot of time to do this.
Right.
Important phone calls, to visit a friend, and it only need 30 minutes.
Mhm.
So you can get a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
But there is an important also advice for people who like to do to-do lists.
Mm.
Please, people, don't be that detailed in the to-do list. Because one of the things, I was reading a book, I don't remember for who, and this is good that I don't remember because I didn't like what I see. I saw that he's advising people, it's a West book, advising people that to write everything they do. I like this in monitoring, but not in the to-do list. Why? Because I find that we are going to be robots. Don't be a robot. He's writing, for example, I woke up at 7. I went to the bathroom 7 and 3 minutes. I came out of the bathroom 7 and 5 minutes.
Yeah, a bit
I think
ridiculous.
I will use the whole time of the day writing what I'm
That
doing.
itself is,
I mean, I think it's pretty bad advice.
Yeah.
If in time management to write everything down, because you're wasting your time writing everything down.
The
essentially.
extension wrote that I drank the coffee at 7:45
Okay, I think
and
that's a
7
little-
seconds. What?
But I think you said if it's for monitoring, it's okay. So if you're trying to adjust your lifestyle to better time manage yourself, if you were to write down, I can see how that can work. You know, you write down how your day-to-day is. So you do monitor yourself, and then you can look at that schedule, and you can see where you went wrong.
Yeah, this is the next step. After saving your time, after knowing the approaches and knowing that you have to have a schedule, to monitor your time. If you want to know really how much of time do you have and how much of time do you lose, try to do what this guy did in the book. Write everything, but just not for long, just for 2 days, 3 days, and start to see, this is me. It will be a very clear result for you. This is me. I lose all this time drinking coffee.
To be is to do?
Sorry?
To be is to do?
Yeah, exactly. You can see it in front of you. Yeah, and I did this before to myself, guys. And I found, for example, that I lose a lot of time in, this, what we call it, the first look on TV. Yeah, I lose, when I was younger than this, maybe 4 years ago, I found that most of my time, I lose it in the side or the first looks. Like, I look for the TV for 2 minutes because I'm getting something from the kitchen, and I go. Then I stand, I will see only that scene. And I found that I break my effort into minutes due to what I spend in looking for the TV, and when I come back I feel like what the sheikh was saying, what the lesson was saying, and I'm not focusing on what I'm doing.
Right. So that's why I think it's important to realize you should focus on one thing at a time. You guys are talking about multitasking is impossible. You have to focus on one thing at a time to really get the most out of what you're doing.
I remember what you said, because the last time, and I want to clarify it more to people, about being multitaskable or not. We can do this or not, because it's very important in time management. Yeah, you have to be multitaskable, but to extent. Everything, guys, has an extent. So I can't be multitaskable, as we said the last week, about that maybe I use this while walking to the masjid. This is from the box that I said it's a side time. A side time, like what I lose in TV, but better than losing it, do something important.
But it's like your prayer. If you're not focusing all on your prayer, maybe Allah only accepts 1/10. But if you get that full,
this is the extent.
That's
if you are increasing.
That multitask, I don't think you can multitask in ibadah. When you're doing one ibadah, you want to focus totally on it. Put your
anything really
in that one ibadah. We have a time management problem now because it's time to end the show. So brothers, Jazakallah khair again for this beautiful episode. And Jazakallah khair for watching Life Choices on Huda TV. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man. Choices, chances, dreams and goals. Many mixed emotions in my heart and soul. For some I made a plan and did the best I can. If God wills, things can happen. After all, I'm just a man.